Good day and welcome to the weekly roundup of the Evening Review. I'm Ashley Smith, the news editor of Namibian Sun. On Monday, we carried some interviews with some of the new cabinet ministers, and this is what they had to say.
The natural resources of Namibia belong to Namibians, and I'm happy to say in the fishery sector, the majority of shareholders, overwhelming majority, are Namibian citizens, and I want to make sure that the record is kept. Because these resources must benefit Namibians first and foremost, must benefit our women, our mothers first and foremost, must benefit the youth first and foremost, must contribute to the development of this country first and foremost, must contribute to the policy of industrialization, meaning setting factories on shore so that we create more employment.
This challenge. I've taken up challenges before as a youth leader, and I think this is no different. As long as I have the support and the guidance, I don't think I'll go wrong. And I will bank on the experience so far I've had, but also be willing to take advice and guidance from those that have been there. In high school, I was the junior mayor of the city of Volta. I served as Deputy Speaker of the Children's Parliament of the Republic of Namibia. I also served in NANSO in various capacities, in which the last one I served last year before the last Congress. And I've worked with various groups, youth groups. I've worked with AFRIAN, that I still do today, Global Shapers, Windhoek, and so on, really. It's that in a nutshell, yes.
Because corruption is everywhere, but of course it doesn't justify, you see, that corruption should be impacting the defense force. So we'll do everything to our best to make sure that corruption is, wherever it appears, is fought and eradicated.
On Tuesday, Namibian Sun editor Toivo Njabela sat down with Popular Democratic Movement leader McHenry Vanani, and this is an excerpt of their interview.
What you tweeted today first, the president, you had a telephone or telecom conversation with him. What was the nature of the call?
Well, of course, when you deal with the president, you always use Chatterton rules, which means that you don't divulge what was discussed. But I think the thrust of the motive was that I alerted State House that I wanted to speak to the president vis-a-vis the issue of the COVID-19, the epidemic, and we had a very illustrious discussion on the COVID-19 and how we could mitigate remedies to really lessen its spread. We have agreed on a number of issues, the issues of lockdown, the issues of sanitation, proroguing parliament, and a number of host of issues. But of course, I'll leave the benefit of the doubt to the president for him to take measures. I think later on he promised that he wants to invite leaders of all political parties to be briefed on the situation. So I'll give the benefit of the doubt. I do not want to reveal what he said about it, but those are the fundamental issues that I had a problem with as leaders, that we need to put the public welfare ahead of our political differences and ahead of our personal differences. Of course, this is a first call or a first engagement with President Gangop since he assumed presidency, since the last 5 years. So that's the first call that we really discuss something. Not that we don't say hello to each other, we always do, but we have never discussed anything.
On Wednesday, we were joined in the studio by Labour expert Herbert Yao, and this is what he had to say.
What is happening right now in the country as far as coronavirus? We are hearing too many things now.
Yes.
Employees must be sent home. Employees must be better protected. Some industries have been declared essential. What is your first reading of the situation?
Okay, Namibia chose the path of preventing widespread infection, which is absolutely right, because we had the advantage of seeing how other countries dealt with, and the only ones that have arrested it successfully were those that acted immediately with shutdowns. China and South Korea were the ones that have managed. Those that adopted a wait-and-see attitude, like Italy and Spain and others in Europe, they are sitting now with a pandemic way beyond their control. And they are the ones who are recording now death rates far higher than China, where the the original outbreak took place. So Namibia has learned from that, and it's good to see within the Southern African region that there seems to be a kind of coordination between different governments. President Ramaphosa in South Africa has announced that they will lock down on Thursday night. Botswana has already before that announced anyone coming into Botswana must be quarantined for 2 weeks. Now, these are very good steps in preventing the spread. And the background is, if we don't prevent the spread, our health system will collapse completely. We are no way equipped to deal with hundreds or thousands of people infected that need medical treatment, given the state of our public health facilities already. Also the nutritional state, especially amongst people that are affected by poverty, you don't want it to spread. So the decision was taken, let's confine the spread, let us limit the number of people who get infected. And that's the background to the announcement now that as from Friday we're going to face a lockdown where most workplaces will be closed. People should remain at home. We are not yet sure in terms of walking around streets, etc., what will be the arrangement there. But what we can be very sure about is that people will not be able to go to work as usual. Already some workplaces have been severely limited, like Shebeens have to close at 6 in the afternoon. And taxis will, of course, severely be affected, taking people to work. But these are also places where a virus can spread, when you're crammed alongside dozens of other people in the same vehicle, and one person might be the one to spread it.
On Thursday, Landless People's Movement leader Benardus Tsikata joined Jemima Bucas in the studio and spoke about his recent parliamentary war of words with Doreen Sioka and Labour Minister Utoni Nyoma.
There was this commotion with the former land minister, Utoni Nyoma.
My good friend.
Yes, your good friend. We all know that. And then there has also been an incident, not really an incident, but people see it as an incident of you telling Ms. Doreen Sioka, the former gender minister, that you want to take it outside. Now, these remarks and these incidents have ruffled some feathers. Do you think this kind of behavior by you in particular, and even that of the other people, Utoni and Ms. Sioka, portrays what is expected of a lawmaker?
What do people understand by let's take it outside?
Some people feel
you could say that let's not disturb proceedings, let's have this discussion outside so that the important work of the House can proceed. That could be it. People should not just assume that there is an attempt at violence. That's, I think, a wrong precept to commence the engagement from. It could be, please, let's take it outside and we debate and discuss it there. It's not necessarily blue eyes and fists that will be going around. But to answer your question, no, look, we need as Namibians to begin to appreciate what we meant as LPM when we said that Parliament will have to become a lively place of debate, deliberation, and decision making. And what we have seen over the past 30 years is that the establishment has really made Parliament their own domestic living room, where they could sleep when they want, where they could play with their cell phones if they want to, where they could dress if they want to inappropriately, where they could yawn in the manner they want to, where they would have hairstyles and haircuts and all sorts of things in a way they wanted to, making it really seem as if it's their own private households, where you have the absolute freedom to be whoever you are, and forgetting that out there is an audience called the electorate that really wants certain things to happen from you. First, what is important is that Parliament must just be robust.
And on Friday, or yesterday, we had an interview with the mayor of Windhoek, Francina Kahungu, ahead of the lockdown of the Khomas and Irongo regions. This is what she had to say. With the lockdown coming into effect this evening, or it's 1 minute past midnight, as former Health Minister Bernard Afiku said yesterday, So it's a good time to have you here, and obviously for you to share very, very critical information with your citizens.
I'm happy to be here just to say, let us not worry too much, let us be calm.
Just to start off, Madam Mayor, in terms of the City of Windhoek's contribution to ensuring a successful lockdown for the next 21 days, what measures and what contribution has the city been making in that regard?
Thank you very much. The measures put in place by Windhoek municipality are many. I have to inform you that the first measure is to distribute or to disseminate information to the public. The first measure is to make water accessible to all residents. In this regard, Windhoek municipality has decided to open or to reconnect all water supplies to clients whose water were cut off due to non-payment. I'm very happy to continue to say today, Council of Windhoek municipality has decided to subsidize water to all people who are using water tokens to buy water.
That's very good news, especially for the poorest of the poor in the city. Just in terms of the kind of do's and don'ts for Windhoek residents as the lockdown takes effect this evening, 1 minute past midnight, what are the kind of rules and do's and don'ts that we as citizens should stick to?
Thank you very much. As we know, and everyone is telling us, the first and the basic rule, do wash your hands with water and soap. In addition, or as an option, use a hand sanitizer. Make sure that your hands are clean, and stop and do not touch too much your eyes, nose and mouth. But what is the other maybe rule which one would expect from Windhoek municipality? We are saying, since we are given these 2 weeks, let us stay indoors. Let us stop moving too much. Let us only travel when it is really, really necessary. We are going to do some things which might not be honorable, like chasing people from the streets.
And that's all we have time for today on the weekly roundup of the Evening Review. I'm Ashley Smith, the news editor of Namibian Sun.